Okay, Mitra, tell us a little bit about Ave Maria.
Well, the thing with Ave Maria is, I do a lot of prayers for funerals and weddings and so on and so forth. And sometimes people would ask me, could you please sing a song there? And I would say, what would you like me to sing? And they would say, Ave Maria. And so I learned Ave Maria, and I first, started, just singing it. And before I knew, it's like always when I would go somewhere, people would say, could you please sing Ave Maria if it was something special for them? So I think with Ave Maria, I am thinking of the mother source. I'm just thinking, again, of the connection. And I feel this nurturing energy of love where it's the mother source. So that's where Ave Maria comes from me. Now, I know a lot of people have sang beautiful renditions, and they've done beautiful works with it. But this was just our, unique way of doing it, too.
Okay, Mitra, where do you want to go from here?
You mean figuratively or literally?
No, I was wondering, do you have plans? Or are your plans rather just kind of like unfolding?
My plans are a little bit unfolding because I'm at this juncture where I'm at a new book. I'm not at a new chapter. I'm at a new book. And there's a difference. I've been, when I feel I've had this big book of my life of several chapters, and now I feel I'm embarking on a new book.
Oh, how exciting.
So I don't know how it's going to unfold, but what I would love, is to be able to be more, quote, in the world, to travel more to places, to share what I have learned, to sing more, to do more teachings, and, maybe to have even one day a center, a library, where there's many books in the Middle East so people have access to it. I am very open at this stage. I have realized that I don't have a set agenda, and I'm just really just embracing what comes my way and going with the flow, yet very conscious that I have to still make choices and decisions. And I'm hoping that I can a little bit weave more my artistic vision with my spiritual work, and I guess I would say be more globally present. I've been in the U.S. for a long time, and once in a while when I get a chance, travel somewhere. But now I'm feeling more like the world is opening up to me.
Okay.
And I'm hoping I can take my work to, Lebanon, Turkey, England, wherever that's called on upon me, and be part of that. And, again, my first book coming out next year, I'm excited about that. And I'm hoping
what's the title?
It's called Miraculous Silence, Sitting with God in Prayer.
Miraculous Silence, Sitting with God in Prayer.
Yeah, and that will come up end of 2015. So I'm hoping with that opening up also, I will be able to, open new energies, different places. Just continue my work, but maybe on a little bit different platform.
It's impressive for me to see your journey and to see the humility behind the work, your internal work that you do on yourself.
It's like Dr. Scott Peck said, it's the road less traveled. But once you travel it, you never get off. It's never, you never stop growing.
Yeah.
You never stop progressing. Every time, I think, okay, I got it. I realize I really don't know nothing. And if I think I know anything, that's where I'm very mistaken. That's my ego talking. I don't know anything. And I just know that I have to live my truth in this life. And truth is always the connection to the source. And it can only be light. It cannot be fear. So whenever I feel fearful, I know that's where my ego is coming in and interfering with the love.
Well, that's easy.
Yeah. That's easy.
Well, at least it's easy to see.
It's easy to see. It sometimes takes work to release it, though.
Let's talk about this. I mean, okay, so we all have fear. And a spiritual person,
yes.
Who's a healthy spiritual person, who has a healthy sense of God, a God who is not an ogre bent on violence and wanting to inflict fear and punishment. This person, this individual who has a healthy sense of spirituality or has a healthy spirituality also has fear. And fear doesn't disappear. Fear always is. The difference is that this individual will have built up or have done the work that will enable this person to overcome, to surpass fear, making a choice to overcome that fear.
Exactly. Yeah, it's so true, Slade. What you said is so true. It's a choice to basically go through this dark alley of anxiety and fear and know at the end of it is the light. But to go through that dark alley requires work, and it cannot happen without work. And people who don't do the work, it's very different. It's very different because they can never completely live in their truth because they're living a little bit in the shadows of fear. And it's very universal. Fear is something we all experience.
Yeah.
And it's fear of the unknown. It's fear of so much that we all experience. But I think when you work on yourself a long time and you allow your vulnerabilities to be revealed to you, then I think you let yourself just give in to the state of being. And then when you give in is when you're naked and just you can really see more clearly. When people want to be very, very strong, I always have a problem with that. And I always say the strongest thing is to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
The strength is to be vulnerable. Because that's where you receive so much and you learn so much.
Wow. How powerful is that?
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome. I had to do each one of the, I had to do so much work, Slade. Being an immigrant, being away. So
listeners who are in the same situation that you are in, what advice would you give them? You would give them the advice to stay on track.
Stay on track. Listen to that inner voice. If that inner voice, when it's not connected to ego and fear, is of light, is of love, is of God. And in that connection, you can never go wrong. That's the coolest thing. That we all have that ability to have that connection. Doesn't matter. We don't have to have a degree. We don't have to be wealthy. We don't have to be whatever. Each one of us. Now, that's where that's where you see the love of God does not differentiate anything for any one of us. There's no borders there. There's no borders between us and the divine or us and the source.
And this oneness makes it possible for us to learn from one another.
We are constantly the teacher and the student. In every relationship, we are the student and the teacher. There is not one teacher, there's not one student. You know, I've learned more from my students. Sometimes when I do a class and they say thank you, I say, oh no. What do you mean? This was better for me than what you think. I've learned more from it. It's really true.
And this is where we begin our humility dance.
Yeah.
You know, I have a really dear friend, Patty Ishani, and she's also from Iran, by the way. We did a program earlier, and you could find it in later down, or I think it's not in the archives yet. You just kind of scroll down, you'll find it. Can You Swim in a River Twice is the title of the program. Wonderful program, kind of fun to think about too. She shared with me an image that is very telling. Okay, imagine that there's two trees standing side by side. One tree is laden with fruit, and the other tree is not. So the tree that is laden with fruit, you can see the branches are extended, and they are bending with the weight of the fruit. And the tree that has no fruit, well, it's very proud and erect and standing with its branches up, extended in the air. You can see the humility involved and flexibility in bearing fruit.
Oh, that is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it reminded me of what you just said, and also the importance of remembering that we're part of a cycle. This beginning, there seems to be a beginning, a middle, and an end to everything that we know on this life. And that's a really important piece in tying this all together.
And I think that is a big realization, sometimes a difficult realization. And it requires maturity of mind and some years behind us and a wisdom and insight. And it's true. Everything has a cycle. It's like the seasons of life. There has to be a winter for there to be a spring. You know, we have to have a spring to have a fall, a harvest. You know, and it's the same of our life. You know, I'm not one to really put people in categories or age and all that, but there is a cycle of life. We cannot deny that cycle. And it's I guess it's like you said, the wisdom of knowing and seeing the cycle and seeing the flow of things. And for each person, it can be different. You know, the cycle isn't always like youth, you're very active, and middle age, you whatever, slow down, and old. It's not always like that. Actually, every stage of life has an emphasis. There is no less quality to a person who's in their middle age or elderly age than there is to someone who's in their youth. And I think if we understand that we can maybe a little bit bring forth more respect for those who are older in the community. I think that's very important because I think they are our treasures. They are our treasures.
And they have so many treasures to give. And who are they going to give them to?
Exactly. And I think there was, you know, in certain cultures, like I know in the Chinese culture, and I know some parts of the Middle East, they used to really honor the elderlies. And now I see so much change in even those parts of the world, and that makes me sad. Because I think they really need to be, you know, they've earned that spot for us to give them the time, honor them, not forget them. And there's, you know, when we're young, we run around a lot looking for the answers. And hopefully by the time we reach a certain age, we realize that the answers have been there all along and we just need to sit with them.
And here we sit.
Here we sit, yes.
And Mitra, what is your bottom line message that you would like to deliver to humanity?
My bottom line message is live your truth, for that's where God is.
Live your truth, because that's where God is.
Yeah. Because God is truth, God is love, and that's our truth. Yeah. That's my bottom line message is I think a life of truth is a life of light and love, which is where the source is. Whatever, again, you believe that name is. I don't want to, you know, some people call it love, light, nature, beloved, universe, whatever your interpretation is. But that's where your truth is.
Cool. And that's where we begin to see that we belong to one another, brother and sister.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, Mitra. Not only do you have a voice of love, you are also a voice of peace.
Yes. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I am humbled. I really thank you for giving me this opportunity, Slade. You've been such a gift to me at this juncture, and I'm just so happy about this.
Mitra Rahbar, thank you. And you'll join us again.
I definitely will. That's a promise.
Okay, we'll take you up on it. This is Slade Suter. Until next time, be authentic, be true, live your truth, because that's where God is, and be free.
Conflict is a choice you know.
Whoa, oops. Watch it. Sorry.
In order to gain a new perspective and how to resolve conflict in your organization, business, or family, go to AuthenticityRadio.com. All right, enough.
Come on.
This is Authenticity Radio. Authenticity Radio with Slade Suter.